Welcome into Lost the Plot, the podcast where we talk about movies, books, and TV shows. And today we're going to be talking about Tron Legacy, the middle one of the Tron franchise. At first, it may sound a little weird why we're talking about this one, but there's a reason behind it in the way that we kind of each watch the films. And so you can go into a little bit about that.
Yeah. I think probably one of the biggest reasons we're talking about Legacies is the one most people have seen. I think
Sure.
I mean, that's the big reason, I think.
Yeah.
There's 3 Tron movies. There's the old one, which is made in the 80s, I believe.
Yep.
Made in the 80s.
1982.
There was Tron Legacy, which was around 2010. And then there's Tron Ares, which came out this year in 2025. But the big thing with Tron Legacy is that it's a legacy sequel. It's so influential. That's what the legacy is playing off of. And the concept of a legacy sequel is essentially reviving an old franchise, an old brand, bringing it into the present, and trying to craft a story in such a way where it gets the old fans involved and it also gets new fans. So stuff like Jurassic World, stuff like even The Force Awakens, I feel like, to a certain extent. Other ones are like Top Gun Maverick, I think is probably the most successful legacy sequel. Ghostbusters did one. It's just the idea of remember this thing, you might not have seen it, but we're doing another one, and it's made just for you who hasn't seen the original, so please come see this thing that you vaguely heard is good. That's less the case with something like Star Wars, where it's directly related, it's episode 7. But something like Top Gun Maverick, I think, fits the bill. I know so many people that had never seen Top Gun that went to see that movie. Because they'd heard vaguely, like, oh, yeah, I've heard that that's good. I heard that, so-and-so was in it or whatever. Tron Legacy does that to a T. Because, I mean, sorry, I'm trying to think of where best to start. I guess I'll finish this out about legacy sequels. We wanted to tailor our viewing experiences so that we each came from a different perspective when talking about Tron Legacy. So I'd never seen Tron Legacy up until recently, and then I've since watched Tron Ares as well, whereas you watched Tron Legacy and the original Tron. So we're coming at this very intentionally from both perspectives that a legacy sequel can have. I've chosen kind of the modern fan's perspective who hasn't seen the original, and Josiah's chosen the original fan who doesn't like the new stuff as well. So we're hoping that lends some vitality to our conversation.
Yeah, hopefully that helps with any overlap that needs to be there so that we have the full context for this franchise.
Yeah.
Tron has always been a weird movie for me because I had never seen it, obviously, but I never knew what it was about either.
Yeah.
I thought it was a video game. Like, oh, this guy either gets sucked into a video game or like this is a story about Tron, which was the main thing that I thought this whole thing was about this character named Tron.
Yeah.
And it's not. Spoiler alert. It's really not.
Yeah.
And in the movies, the 2 that I saw, they are not concerned about him at all. They don't know his whereabouts.
That doesn't change in the third one.
That is so. We're gonna get into it.
It's gonna be hard to believe, but they care about Tron even less in the third one.
That's so crazy.
I don't think it comes up.
But at all?
At all. It really doesn't. There's kind of like this vague implication in the third movie of like, well, maybe he's Tron. Like he's a new Tron.
He's okay.
And that's about all the attention that the movie gives to it. I feel like Tron Legacy does a better job, but you're right. He's not on the poster. The film's not about him.
The first one is the most about Tron.
Okay.
And it's so confusing because we're talking about Tron Legacy, and there's so much context that happens in the first Tron that I started watching Tron Legacy, and then I had no clue what was going on.
Really?
As soon as it started, I was like, okay, there's gonna be all I know about Tron is that there's these racers and there's lines, and if you hit the lines, you die.
Yeah.
And then Jeff Bridges whenever he's talking to his son in the beginning of the movie is like telling him about where he went and he met Tron and they did all this stuff. Yeah. And they start talking about discs and I'm like, okay, I have to watch the first one. Maybe that's just me because I went in with a completely different perspective or perception of what the movie was going to be about. So eventually, to my wife's dismay, I paused the movie 2 minutes in, went and watched the original, which she was not. She was wanting to watch Tron Legacy, again because she had seen that one. But I let's talk about Tron Legacy, and then as we go through it, we can talk about Tron.
That's so interesting to hear because I had only seen Tron Legacy. It's the one I watched first. I did not have that issue at all.
Yeah, I'm just stupid.
I was locked in.
I'm just stupid.
I didn't say that.
That's what it was.
That was
I
implied.
mean, I felt a little dirty. I'm not gonna lie.
Well,
I did, and maybe it's because I don't know. It just felt a little. It wasn't like your experience where you had said someone brought it to you and was like, "Hey, this is a really fun film. You should watch it." I went into it with one of our friends in my ear saying, "You have to watch the first one. Why in the world would you start with the second one? You have to watch the first one."
Okay, so.
And so in my mind, I was like, I got the time, I guess. And it was like good overlap because you'd seen the third. Anyway,
small confession about my Tron experience. My very first experience with
Tron experience.
My Tron journey.
Your traumatizing experience?
Dear gosh. My first experience with Tron, I'm not going to say unfortunately because it's really good, comes from a video game. So for me, Tron was a video game.
Right.
Specifically, that video game was Kingdom Hearts 2 on the PlayStation 4. So my experience with Tron only has there's Tron there, there's a guy in a samurai helmet, and then it's Sora, it's Donald, and it's Goofy.
And Tron?
And Tron. And they don't shut up. And they talk the entire time. And so that was my
Kingdom
foundation.
Hearts is more about Tron than Tron is?
From what it sounds like, yeah.
I mean, okay, in Tron Legacy for sure. In the original one, it is more about Tron. But
There's Kingdom Hearts, Dream Drop Distance, which actually adapts the film Tron Legacy into its world. And a big part of the Kingdom Hearts world specifically is that he knows Tron. And so there's actually more character development for the character of Tron in Kingdom Hearts than there is in Tron Legacy. Because in Tron Legacy, and we'll talk about that, he doesn't realize he's Tron, and he comes back at the end, really. But are you
talking about in Legacy?
In Legacy.
Yeah.
In Kingdom Hearts, the entire world is centered around, hey, Sora knows Tron, and he's going to fight him now, and he feels guilty about it because they're friends. Like, well, there's more emotional depth to the Kingdom Hearts adaptation.
Why is Tron bad?
Film.
Why is Tron bad? Or at odds with Sora?
Well, it's the same plot as Legacy, which we'll get into.
Okay.
He's corrupted. He's taken over. It's the
reprogrammed
it's the
thing.
same.
You said they adapted. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Well, just Sora's there the whole time, and he won't stop talking. That's my Kingdom Hearts Tron experience. So I'm watching the film. And I'm like an hour into it, and I'm like, I feel like something's missing.
Where's Sora?
Yeah, I feel like something's missing. And I realize what I'm expecting is Donald Duck.
You expected him to take the Keyblade and just smash it in, dude, to the knockoff Jeff Bridges' chest.
This is the last thing I'll say about Kingdom Hearts. Everyone needs to be...
No, it's not.
On this podcast episode.
Yeah, on this episode,
I'll limit myself.
Okay.
Everyone needs to be prepared for the inevitable Tron Ares world in Kingdom Hearts 4.
No.
It doesn't make me happy.
No.
It doesn't make me happy. They're going to do it.
When was the last time they made a Kingdom Hearts game?
2020, I think. 2019, 2020. It's been a wait. It's been a long time.
So it's like 5 or 6 years worth of...
Kingdom Hearts adapted the first Tron. It adapted Tron Legacy. There's no way. There's no way they're going to skip it.
They're not going to put Jared Leto
I think they
in
are.
Kingdom Hearts.
I think they are. I think everyone needs to be really sober about the possibility that you will be stuck with Jared Leto in Kingdom Hearts 4. You're going to wait 8 years for this game.
That should be illegal.
And Jared Leto is going to be there for like 5 hours of it. And he's not going to shut up.
No.
So be prepared for that.
I don't play the game.
Reality. You're going to suffer. Everyone's going to suffer. But they're going to do it. They're going to do it. And it doesn't make me happy to say. So let's talk about Tron Legacy. Yeah,
well, I will say, put down in the comments if you play Kingdom Hearts, because I have only ever met one person who religiously plays this game. And I want to know if there's like a thriving underground community that I have no clue about. And how widespread is it? So So anyway, but please do that. But yeah, we can move on to Tron Legacy, the real one, not the Kingdom
The
Hearts
real
Tron
one,
Legacy.
without Sora, Donald, and Goofy.
Okay.
So this film, you said it was hard to get into. Tell me more about that.
Well, at the very beginning, whenever I just kept, because I didn't know anything about it until I looked it up on Disney Plus to turn it on.
Okay, wow.
And so I read the beginning and I was like, okay, this is not at all what I thought it was going to be. And I don't know if I can articulate what I did think it was going to be, because I thought it was, maybe it was that I thought it was all video games. Like it's all
Okay.
about the video game.
Like Wreck-It Ralph.
Like
Or
Wreck-It
something
Ralph. I
similar.
said that to someone today.
Yeah,
like if
yeah,
it's like
yeah.
in the universe, he gets sucked into a game, almost like Jumanji.
Mm.
And then he comes out eventually and there's like a battle that takes place or some sort of conflict.
Yeah.
But then in the movie, they started talking about all the history in the past. So I was like, okay, I gotta go back and watch the first one. Once I watched it again, like started again after seeing the first one, it was fine, because I had literally went from end, like the rolling credits from the first one, and then went into the second one, and so it was like almost seamless, which was pretty cool, because it starts back in 1989, and I believe the way that the ages work with Sam, Flynn's son,
Yeah.
I think it's 7 years after the first one, because his son's 7 years old, and this movie came out in 1982, the first one. So, but it's pretty seamless as far as the story goes.
Yeah. I think that's what a good legacy sequel does, because I'm able to jump into the film and just the little prologue where it flashes back to Sam as a kid. That was enough for me. I think that's what a good legacy sequel does. It treats the past with reverence, but simultaneously communicates like you don't need to know all the details.
Yeah.
Just knowing the broad strokes is enough to get into this story.
No, clearly it was a me problem. The movie did, after I knew what had happened, I'm like, oh, this is perfect.
Let's not pretend that Tron Legacy is a
It's
smashing,
not,
resounding box office.
I mean, it did make
success.
money. Budget was 170 and it made 410.
It's true.
So it over doubled its budget. So
Well, and there's a lot of things that are tough to quantify, like merchandise, theme park rides.
Fortnite battle passes, which I don't think there was. But I don't think Fortnite was a thing back then. But in 2010,
Did they do something for Ares? I feel like I saw tweets about Jared Leto being in Fortnite.
maybe.
That's another thing. It's a tie-in. There's all these other ways that they make money off of it.
Oh, yeah,
even
the
if the
Fortnite was a
film's
thing.
not that big of a deal. I think, I mean, it's a good setup. We get this idea. So you have Flynn. He founds the company. He creates the world of the grid. It's a digital world that parallels the real one. It's enabled by computers. And we get the sense that he has a son whose name is Sam. Flynn goes missing one day, and Sam spends the rest of his life not knowing where his dad went. It's a very strong setup for a film, because you have that emotional connection to him, and you also have a very good passing of the torch. You know, this film doesn't have to be about Flynn. It can be about his son and the absence of his father from his life. Again, it works well as a legacy sequel because it's this thing of he's absent, so you're able to miss him if you knew him, but if you didn't know him, just the implied absence. It's like, oh, well, he's not here right now. You know, I don't know who this character is. I wish he were here. You know, I wish that this character had his dad in his life. Like that, it works at multiple levels emotionally, which I think it's a tough thing to pull off. I think Legacy does it very well.
Yeah, I agree. You don't really need to know who his dad is or who this kid is in order to know, oh, he's a kid that doesn't have his dad.
Yeah,
And that's sad. Where did he go?
exactly. It's a great hook.
And then you immediately sympathize whenever he commits a pretty big crime in the first 10 minutes of the movie.
Yes.
And you're kind of like, well, he doesn't have his dad. So,
Right, yeah.
and
Well, it's
what
not
he
a big
did
deal.
was technically a good thing, even if he got arrested for it. And then somehow,
Yeah.
okay,
Well,
he gets out of prison real fast.
Yeah,
we can talk about what he did, but
So let's break down the real opening of the film. It's him as an adult, and he's a shareholder in his dad's company. His dad's company has become more aggressively pro-business. So they're charging more for things. They're denying services to the people who can't afford to pay. And Sam doesn't think that's right. He breaks in, he hacks their system, he releases their operating system online for free. And then people can use it. It's open source, it's free to everybody, and there's nothing that the company can do about it to claw it back. I What's your take on this opening?
So there's a lot here because Incom is the company,
Yes.
and that's the same company that's in the first one.
Right.
So his dad works for this company as a developer, essentially.
Okay.
In the first one, he develops this program called Clue, and the executive VP that you see in the movie stole that program from Flynn and claimed it as his own and made something called the Master Program, or I can't remember, Master Control Program or something.
Okay.
So anyway, and the whole plot of the first one is him trying to get the documentation that could prove that he was the one who actually created this program.
Gotcha.
Alan Bradley, who is on the board in the opening scene, the older guy who eventually goes and talks to Sam, created Tron.
Okay.
And so he's starting to see, he gets his access revoked to his program. It starts feeling very similar to what happened to Flynn. So eventually they all team up to try to essentially get the company back, because that guy had the position that Flynn should have had. And so all of that takes place during Tron. And so if you've seen the first one, you kind of know, okay, this is his company. His dad went from being VP to the CEO of the company, but now he's gone, and he's been gone for 21 years now.
Yeah.
And so now his son is still the majority shareholder in the company.
Yes.
Technically speaking, but he doesn't want to be involved. But he obviously cares, and even Alan says that at one point. He's like, "You have a weird way of not being involved."
Yeah.
And so he breaks in, and they're about to do this massive OS launch for servers or some sort of operating system, and he releases it for free.
Yeah.
What was really jarring for me was that what's the guy's name? Oppenheimer.
Oh yeah. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Dear
It's
gosh.
I mispronounced his first
Is it
name.
Cillian Murphy?
It's Cillian Murphy.
Yeah.
I'm sure I'm mispronouncing his first name, and I apologize for that.
Whenever I first watched that scene,
Yeah.
immediately I think he's the bad guy.
Same.
Immediately.
Exactly.
Like,
that is exactly what I thought the first time that I watched
they set
the
it up.
movie.
They set it up so perfectly. I was like, because I'm like, oh, perfect. Cillian Murphy's the villain in this movie. It's at least an 8 out of 10.
Right, yeah, and they
Immediately
frame it like they're going to be polar opposites, because you have Sam, and he's the majority shareholder, but he wants things to be free. He wants things to be great for the consumer. And you have Murphy's character, who is this smarmy, dark-haired, I think we should charge billions of dollars for our services. And it's this aggressive pro-business attitude versus the open source, free software ethos that Sam has. And it goes nowhere.
Well, and he even
does
says
not reappear in the film.
After it's revealed that the operating system is out and live, he says, "Don't worry, we got this." He's like, "Everything's under control."
Right, yeah. Oh, I'll take care of it.
And I was like,
I can't wait to see that
like,
pop
hold
up
on.
in the
And
scene.
so
yeah.
And so we'll get there, but later on, the main villain comes on the scene, and I think it's him.
Right.
He's in a helmet, and I think it's Cillian Murphy underneath that thing.
That is exactly what I thought when I watched the film.
See what I'm
I was
saying?
like, oh, it's him. Yeah, we're gonna. He's in the system. He's high up in the company. He knows about the grid. It makes total sense, and just not what they do at all.
No, it's not. And whenever I saw, I was like, that made the reveal so disappointing. Like, and not because I'm not calling it inherently bad for that reason. Obviously not, because it's not its fault.
Yeah.
Except for you did set him up,
It feels.
and you just knocked the knees out from under him.
Yeah, it feels like a Chekhov's gun moment, because he's a big actor, and maybe I'm.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's 2010.
Right, and so maybe I'm standing in the present.
That's what it is.
Looking into the past and being like, oh, well, he's a big actor. And in reality, he wasn't that big of an actor at the time. So it's probably me coming to the film with my expectations of the actor, of his significance. But, I mean, he was in movies at this time.
He was in The Dark Knight 2 years before. Batman Begins.
And so he already has that, if
Inception the same year.
I feel like that kind of goes against what I'm saying. I feel like that demolishes the objection that he wasn't that big of a deal. If you're playing key central villains in Batman movies, if you're in Inception, it is weird to have him pop into this film very briefly in one scene that sets him up as a villain, or at least appears to. Maybe that wasn't the intent. Maybe he's just supposed to be representative of selfish boardroom types.
Well, so
But it's odd. At the very least, the theme is not explored in detail after that moment.
Well, he's listed in the credits for the untitled Tron Legacy sequel that never got off the ground.
Okay.
There's some that say it was going to be Tron Ascension.
Huh.
And that could just be Google speculating or gathering information from all these people saying, "Oh, Cillian Murphy's going to be the bad guy in the third Tron."
Right.
That just never got off the ground. So maybe they were going to go somewhere with him because his son would still have some. You'd still have some battles to fight with the board because obviously he does not align with the goals of the board
Exactly.
as chairman or as the CEO of the company. So maybe Alan Bradley dies or something, and then Cillian Murphy becomes chairman through some finagling or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
But it seems like they could have done something with it, but they ripped the rug right up from under me. I was like, this is going to be so good. This is going to be good.
It was very. What's weird is that in Tron Ares, despite all the film's issues, that's basically the villain of the film. It is the pampered boardroom type. It is like that type of character is exactly the main villain of Tron Ares. It is I'm on the board, I'm unlikable, I love business, a comedic amount, and I think we should blow up the entire city so that we can make money. It's a weird thing because I was watching Tron Ares and I was like, well, this is everything I thought, Cillian Murphy's character would be in Legacy. And the film it doesn't go there at all. I like the direction that Legacy takes. But it's not the direction I anticipated after the intro to the film.
And it almost feels intentional. I don't think it was like the bait and switch.
Yeah.
But I don't think that was their goal.
Yeah.
I think I just read too much into it or just fell hard from my 2025 brain
it might
knowing
just
who
be the contemporary thing.
Probably
it might not have played that way to audiences at the time.
Yeah.
But if he was in The Dark Knight, I mean, I don't know. That's significant. It is significant.
You remember that bad guy.
Right.
And you remember him as that villain and how evil he is.
Well, and you remember him as like maybe he's not the main villain, but he's one of the main villains. And so you think he's going to have a similar role in this one again?
Like, what would have happened?
Maybe we're assuming too much. Maybe we're projecting.
What would have happened if Sam's dad, or Flynn from the original Tron, creates this world, and Cillian Murphy's character finds it?
Yeah.
And has been secretly manipulating it the whole time, and like through a back door or something. Like that writes itself.
It does.
And man, dude,
I like the
fate
direction they take, where the problem is caused by Flynn's hubris. It's a direct result of him, his parenting style, essentially. I think it is a good story in Legacy. The one we got is very good. You very easily see how it could have gone another direction, though.
Yeah.
I think so. When I'm thinking through the intro, it's one of the biggest reasons that I feel conflicted about Tron Legacy. I think it's a really good film. It's a really good story. It's a gorgeous film with a gorgeous soundtrack. I don't think its characters grow, personally. And I think we can talk about that more as the film goes on. When we open on adult Sam, he's doing this ridiculous thing. He's doing this crazy act of defiance against a company that he owns majority shares in. He's tanking its value. He's releasing their products for free. Where does he go after that? Because the only potential arc that he can have, is taking on more responsibility, becoming more serious, incorporating himself into the world. We get the sense that he's kind of a dropout, that he's living in a garage. But he's incredibly wealthy. He's incredibly talented. He appears already to have this very intense moral code where he wants to do the right thing regardless of what it is. And I think a lot of the tension of the film is him finding himself in new situations. It's, we're going to drop you into this fight, figure out how it works. And the confusion that he experiences in those moments, it's not a moral confusion, or it's not a character confusion. It's really just logistical. It's like, well, what is this tool? How does it work? What does it do? What's the objective? And he learns those types of things, but I don't think he learns how to be a better person, how to be more selfless. He doesn't go on the typical hero's journey that characters like Luke Skywalker or Harry Potter, the real archetypal hero's journey characters go through. where there's some conflict and there's some growth and they don't want to do it initially. And they end up at a place where you never could have fathomed them ending up at the beginning of the film. I feel like for Sam, the place that he ends up at the end of the film, it's not too far from where he began. You know, there's some logistical differences, but I think it's the same character at its heart. I don't know. What's your take on that?
I think Sam's a plot device and not the main character.
Okay.
Because throughout the whole movie, I didn't feel for him one time.
Dang.
And it may be because
that's rough.
it may be because I only cared about Flynn.
Okay.
From watching the original into the sequel, but
Yeah.
I do think at the end of the movie, and we'll get there, I
Yeah.
think that they kind of view him kind of like a Luke Skywalker type of figure, where he's already inherently good,
Yes.
but what he's doing, he's going from being very destructive, and he's not helping any situations. He's just causing chaos because he's lashing out.
Yeah.
And then at the end of the movie, spoiler alert, he becomes CEO of the company. And so he decides to step into that role and be like, you know what, change needs to happen.
That's a weird.
But it needs to.
It needs arc.
But he doesn't originally want to do it. He doesn't want to have responsibility. He doesn't want to be.
And you can make the case that he's taking on responsibility. He's incorporating into the real world.
He could be resenting his dad to some degree. He could have resentment and just the need to have one last conversation with his dad face to face, and maybe that's why he's trying to find his dad instead of like, I really miss my dad.
Right. And you can say that on his journey, you know, he becomes more mature, and then he's able to take on the role that was offered to him at the beginning of the film. You know, it's returning to the old world, more wise, more mature. I don't feel like that much growth happened.
But I feel like
it's a personal opinion.
Well, no, I mean, you have to look at the value of, because they have a parallel and they have callbacks, and then they have callbacks within the movie.
Yeah.
So like whenever he, escapes from Incom's headquarters, he goes down a parachute and he floats down.
Yeah.
Whenever near the end of the movie, he uses a parachute and floats down.
Yes.
And maybe there's just little things like that. Like he rides a motorcycle, and then he rides the life cycles in the Tron dimension or whatever they call it.
Yeah.
So it's communicating that he's consistent. It's just the way that he's choosing to interact with the world. His values never changed, but he's not as bitter. He's not as resentful. He's more selfless.
Yeah.
And so he's stepping into the role. But
yeah, I
didn't really view him as he's the main character. I get that. Like strictly speaking, obviously, I can't make the argument that anybody else is.
Right.
But he didn't feel like it. I didn't feel for him one time. Whenever he floated down the parachute the second time was the coolest part for his arc specifically.
There's a lot of moments where it's really exciting and it's real flashy.
Yes.
But there's not really a moment where I feel like there's not a lot of emotional depth. There is when he reunites with his dad. There's some tension there. Most of the big emotional choices are made off screen, or they're very brief. I think a version of the film where he struggles a lot more emotionally, maybe a version of the film where he doesn't have anything to do with the company at the beginning, and then he takes on the role of leading it. It's just, he seems involved. People recognize him. He's the majority shareholder. He's hacking into their systems. He's on the premises. Like, he's already very involved. He's already leading the company. He's just potentially, as CEO, how's he going to lead the company? He's not going to lead him to make boatloads of money at any cost. He's going to do exactly what he did at the first scene, where he releases stuff for free. He helps them grow. He pushes them towards the right direction. It feels very similar. His position changes. I don't think there's any character growth where he would do something differently at any point in the film from any other point in the film, outside of his relationship with his dad.
So I'm just going to think out loud here for a second.
Yeah.
So the original Tron movie opens up with Flynn And that's how they kind of introduce you to the tension between the real world and the computer world. Where he's trying to find the file and he's hacking, and so you have the people in vehicles like physically going in, and he's just typing things on a command line.
Yeah.
And they're like these actual people moving around inside. But then after that, it goes to MCOM's headquarters, and you follow Alan Bradley instead. And I thought Alan Bradley was the main character.
Okay.
But once they meet up with Flynn, because he eventually he got fired because he was pushed out because his work was taken from him.
Yeah.
Once Alan Bradley and I can't remember the girl's name. I feel really bad. Or is it Laura?
In the original Tron?
Yeah. I think Laura. Yeah. They meet up with Flynn. Flynn becomes the main character, and in once they go inside the universe, Alan becomes Tron, and Laura, I believe, becomes Clue. Is that her name? Maybe I could be wrong. I was so confused. But like the way they used everybody in the original Tron movie in the real world, that's like a main character with a title and a name, is in the Tron dimension as different characters.
Gotcha. So they're one person in the real world, and then they're another person on the grid.
Yes.
Okay.
And so, but my main point is that it starts out you think that Bradley's the main character.
Yeah.
And then it turns out it's Flynn the whole time. And so in Tron Legacy, is it possible that Sam is just a force that's pushing Flynn to make a change? Because he grows a ton.
Yeah,
Flynn grows a ton in this movie.
Flynn grows so much. And that's bizarre because Flynn, he grows a lot. He has these contentious emotional scenes with Clue. And I get that he's mostly been absent from Sam's life. That's a huge part of it. I would have liked to have seen some more emotional depth from Sam. Nothing against the actor. The actor's killing it. He's given it his A game. Everything that he has been given, he performs phenomenally. I wish that the character had been written in a way where there was some more emotional scenes. You know, he gets the scenes with his dad where he meets him in the cave, or not the cave, but like, you know, his distant fortress of solitude out away from the rest of the grid. He gets the scene with him on the, you know, sun sail ship thing that's taking him to the portal. He does get a lot of good scenes with his dad. His actions remain remarkably consistent.
Yeah.
I wish that he would change a little bit more.
That's why this is a poll, and I'm sorry, but it reminds me of Phantom Menace.
Okay.
In that Qui-Gon never changes.
Right.
And he seems like he is the protagonist, but in many ways he is just causing the other characters who then we walk with for the other two films.
Yeah.
He is impacting them more than he's actually changing himself.
Yeah.
So even if somebody is the protagonist, quote unquote, does that mean that they have the most change and the most character development, or do they get the happy ending? I mean,
yeah.
Like,
and you can write a protagonist where it's not that they change, but they change the world around them. You know, almost like Mary Poppins. She has no character arc. That's not the point. You know, the point of Mary Poppins is that she changes the world around her. She changes her environment. She changes the kids' lives for the better. Flynn's already kind of doing that. Or not Flynn, sorry, Sam. He's already doing that at the beginning of the film by releasing the software online for free. He's already at the opening a character who's making positive improvements on the world for the sake of others just because.
So is he kind of like a Jack Sparrow kind of character?
In a lot
of
senses,
in the Black Pearl specifically, they make Jack Sparrow have an arc at some point.
Right, where he's kind of the main character, sort of, but not really.
But not really.
And you're making a big mistake if you try to actually make him the main character.
Yes. Yeah.
I guess Flynn, maybe he would have...
But see, Flynn does both.
I keep saying Flynn. Sam, I think Sam would have done better as a Jack Sparrow, Mary Poppins type of character, where he's set in his ways, he's going to make the positive impact, and he has another character who he's like working on or working with, you know, a partner. If he had kind of a Will, or if he had, you know, the kids in Mary Poppins, another character to share the spotlight with, I don't feel like his dad is that.
Well, you
As
think?
much
Well,
as he grows.
I don't know why I didn't think about this.
Maybe he is. Maybe I'm completely backwards. Maybe Flynn doesn't grow until his son shows up, and I've been misreading the story. Maybe the whole point is that Sam makes the positive impact on his dad to push him to be a better person.
That's the message I got. But
And so maybe I'm misreading it. I'm looking for a character arc when
but they frame him as the main character.
they do.
They do, and so
He does. He
again.
inspires change in his dad. I guess that's change.
It's a lot like Kingdom of the Crystal Skull.
Okay.
It's like the same dynamic.
Oh, right.
Father, son.
You mean not Crystal Skull, the Holy Grail.
What do you mean?
The one with his dad.
Well, I was thinking of the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull because you
Okay.
have the established main character as the father.
Gotcha.
And then you have his son, who is one of the main characters
Yeah.
that is framed as such, but he's not the main character of the franchise.
That's true.
He's
But he
not the
could be.
salient feature.
He could be.
He
and
could
they'd
be.
Really like him to be.
Right.
If the movie does well.
Right. But everyone knows it's Indiana Jones.
Right.
He's the main character. His son isn't the main character.
So I guess maybe the issue that I have, it might just boil down to framing and screen time.
Yeah.
You know, if they'd focused on the dad a little bit differently, or if they'd reallocated some of the time, maybe I wouldn't have that issue with the film. And again, it's possible I'm just misreading the film horribly, and a lot of other people got way more out of it than I did.
Well, I liked what you said about some characters don't necessarily grow; they just impact the world around them.
Yeah,
And Flynn's character in this movie literally does both
that's true.
because he grows personally and he can manipulate the entire world around him
That's true.
in the literal sense. And so, but before we get there, we have to figure out how does Sam get into the grid.
Right.
The bulk of the movie happens inside what's called the grid that Flynn had created and eventually got stuck in. So we see Sam get approached by Bradley, who's saying that he got a page
Right.
that was for like 20 years ago, or the last time it got paged or something. The line got disconnected. And so he thinks that he knows where his dad might be, or at least the last place he could have been. And so Sam goes there, and he goes to the arcade that's in the first movie. I'm assuming that was pretty clear.
Yeah.
But it does look identical. It's kind of
Okay.
wild how identical it looks. But so he finds Tron, and it catches his eye, and he realizes that there's a portal. Anyway, the scene where he is in his dad's office, and he gets disintegrated and then transported into the grid is shot for shot what happens in the first one.
Okay.
So his dad's sitting there, and he's trying.
That is
He's
a
on
neat
a.
trick.
It's
That's a nice tribute.
the first time in the first Tron, I was like, that's a terrible place to put a computer. I was like, I was distracted. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I was thinking the whole time, why would you put the laser pointed at the back of the person's head, the computer, and then he does it again in his shop?
Right.
What are we doing?
It is a bad setup.
Anyway, it's a callback. I get it. It's not serious at all. But he turns on the computer, and he kind of like just half-heartedly sees, because he on the screen you can see it says something about transportation, like transporting him.
Yeah.
And so he just kind of
Into the
gives a
grid.
sly smile or look, and he just kind of hits enter just to see what happens, and then he's transported. And I didn't. Whenever that first happened, I was like, this feels so rushed and unceremonious. In the first one, they make a huge deal about it. Like, he's slowly, like, almost looking like a reverse Tetris deal, where he starts disintegrating, and it was to show off the special effects.
Right.
And then it shows him getting transported through all these universes and stuff. And then he ends up in the dimension. In this one, he just wakes up.
Yeah.
And it was very quick, and I'm like, oh, so this isn't. Oh, okay. So we're just in the grid.
It is odd because it's instant, and then he's lying on a intersection.
In the first one, they do it a lot better, I feel, personally.
Okay. That is something interesting about this film. He's in the grid. He's immediately captured by this street patrol, who force him into the games. What's your take on the games?
So, again, in the first one,
This is the issue with legacy sequels. I
so-
thought about the first Tron movie so little when watching this one.
that's so crazy.
I tried to take this movie on its own merits, but that is the beauty of the format.
So, man, I really want to get into this, but we can wait until we get a little bit further. The program that Flynn created that got stolen from him is called the Master Control Program. MCP is what they call it throughout the film. He starts becoming so intelligent that he starts to push out the humans and takes control of Incom's system in the real world. In the grid or in Clue or what's the dimension called? I don't even know.
It's called the grid.
Yeah, well, in Legacy it is.
Oh, is it called something different in the?
I don't know what it's called. I think it's Clue. I think it is called Clue.
Okay.
I don't know, but whatever the dimension is, the Master Control Program is manipulating these programmers who aren't doing things that his way, and I'm trying to figure out what the programmers are, because
what the programs are?
Yeah, because they have these people that play in the games in the first Tron, and they get disintegrated and they die. But
are we talking real people in the real world or programs in the grid?
I can't figure it out.
Okay.
Because I think it's programs personified.
That's my take on it for a lot of them.
But I don't know where he's getting these programs and why he's choosing those specifically, unless it's just to clean house.
I mean, sweeping the streets, you know?
Yeah,
anybody,
I guess.
Anybody homeless in the grid? Anybody meandering? Anybody out after curfew? You pick them up, you throw them in the games, you make them fight on TV.
Oh,
it's the Hunger
he's
Games.
been, yeah, okay. He's expanded.
All over again.
The summary, Wikipedia. Powerful MCP has expanded into a powerful virtual intelligence and has been illegally appropriating personal, business, and government programs to increase his own capabilities. So
the first Tron is about the horrors of your company slowly incorporating more and more AI agents.
Yes.
Into Microsoft Teams.
Yes. So computer programs are living entities, and then they appear as users. And so
I thought that the people who come into
those are
users.
They look like users.
They look like users.
They're personified in that way.
That's the distinction, correct?
The distinction is
the users are the humans and the programs are the programs.
You have the programs and you have the programmers.
Right.
And the programmers are the users, and that's why they say greetings programs, because they're all, most of them are programs, and Flynn has to act like a program while he's there and not reveal. So he more of just says, hey, I've gotten this request or command from my user. So that's why he has to go try to break out and find this file. What were we talking about?
We were talking about the games.
Oh, yeah. So he Master Command knew that Flynn was looking around for this file, and he warned, I think his name is Dillinger, the guy who stole this program. Eventually, MCP blackmails the VP into letting him do what he wants.
How does he blackmail him?
Well,
specifically,
I think he was going to release the file that said it was Flynn's program.
Oh,
because the whole
so
point,
he takes away his credit.
The holy grail of this movie is this simple document that just
Indiana
says
Jones and the Holy Grail, if you will.
Essentially, it just says, here is this program made by Flynn. So and it's just a text document. I don't understand.
Man.
We'll get
So
we're getting off the rails.
Simultaneously, it's intellectual property. Because it's, I made this. But it also this is based purely off your description as somebody who has not seen the first Tron movie. I'm sorry. It sounds a little bit like an NFT. It sounds like the first Tron movie is just this long
It's him chasing an NFT. Well, it's like a computer file.
Well, because it's like, it exists. Who made this? Who owns it?
Well, it's kind of like a deed. It's like, imagine
a little signature at the bottom. None of this would have happened if Flynn had just put the signature at the top.
It's really the Crusades if it was in modern times, because everyone's just fighting over a deed essentially. Some sort of
Tron, it really scratches the thrilling legal drama. If you're ever interested in those courtroom shows,
yes,
but you're interested primarily in the part where they're in the file cabinet looking for stuff.
Yeah, but imagine
imagine that they each were alive.
All the files?
All the files, all the little pieces of paper, and that it was, like one of those Schoolhouse Rock songs.
And maybe it's it's the fact that no file has ever gone from one folder to another, and then one does. And they're like, how did you do that? And I can't get back to my other folder, but there is a file in here that I need.
Right. Yeah, well, now it's not here anymore, and
Yeah.
now the filing cabinet's restarting, and I don't know what to do.
So not only do I have to get, which is actually Tron Legacy now that I think about it. Yeah, not only do I have to get myself back to my other folder, but I now have to get the file I came here for and myself over to my other folder.
Tron Ares is just about the file walking around the office, shooting people in the head.
Everyone's like, yeah, we do this all the
The
time.
company's like, yeah, we actually took the files and we made them weapons. Would you like to buy one? That's the
Yeah.
entire premise
Paper
of Tron
airplanes
Ares.
or the drones.
They frame it that way in Tron Ares too. They're like, yeah, we made these things come alive. We gave it a weapon. It can kill people if you want it to. Everyone kind of looks at him weird, and they're like, why would we want that? This seems a bit unreasonable. He's like, well, you can make infinite soldiers, infinite weapons, infinite vehicles. Just go crazy, man. He just pitches them like just unlimited war. Like, whoa.
Who does he pitch?
The government.
The government?
Pitches the government, various investors.
Oh, wait, and they said no.
They look at it and they're like, this is impressive, but they're kind of weirded out by it also. The same way you would be if a file out of a file cabinet came alive, and the first thing somebody said was, we can give it a weapon. Do you want to give it a weapon? It walks around the office. You want to give it a weapon? It's like, well, no.
Isn't that what Lex Luthor did?
It's very similar.
Okay.
There's a lot of similarities.
So the Superman universe is more cynical when it comes to the American government than
It
Tron
is.
Ares is.
Tron Ares is pretty cynical.
Ares is war.
It is.
Like,
It is.
it's literally Tron war.
We're not being too critical on the film. I really like these films.
Yeah.
It is very fun the way that they've set up the users and the programmers. I think it works a little bit like almost the toys and the kids in Toy Story, where the programs are just made unequivocally to serve the users.
Yes. Because they're created by the users.
Right. In the same way that the toys, in Toy Story, they're brought to life by the wonder and whimsy of a child. And it does create this weird dynamic where there's basically a permanent underclass. There's no sense where the programs could exist for themselves. And I think that that's kind of why the Tron movies have this weird relationship with corporations, where there's this distrust of them, but there's also this weird celebration of them.
Oh, that is
It's a huge thing in Tron
on the
Ares,
nose.
where they're like, oh, well, these companies, they're big and they're evil and they're always trying to sell, they're trying to sell innocuous products to the government as weapons. And then there's other characters in Tron Ares who are like, well, but what if these big companies made stuff and it was really cool?
That is in all three levels. There's all three movies because the plot of the movie, the first one, he gets the file at the end and he breaks out. He finds it. And then he just
signs his name right at the top.
And then he just, it's printed on there. Again, I don't know how he couldn't just forge this. But anyway, maybe I can pull up a photo and we can try to figure it out. But at the end of the movie, the last scene is Bradley and Lori, who are in the Tron dimension, on a rooftop, and a helicopter comes up and lands on the helicopter pad, and it's Flynn.
Okay.
And then they just all hug, and the movie ends with a time lapse. And I'm like, you mean to tell? The whole thing is set up that corporations are horrible. Corporations are evil. They want to fire workers because programs can just do it themselves. And whenever people have good ideas,
this really is a film about incorporating AI into teams.
I know. But then at the end of the movie, he just gets the company, and he doesn't say he's going to change things for the better.
That happens at the end of Legacy.
Sam. But yeah, Sam says
he says he's going to change it for the better. But
you're
going to run a big company for free.
Not only that.
What are you going to do?
Well, not only that, but everything that he's done thus far spits in the face of everything Incom stands for.
Right.
So you know him as a character, even though it's at the very beginning, that he's going to do things different. Yeah. With Flynn, you have no clue. Because at the beginning, he's very spiteful, he's bitter, he's selfish. Like, this whole motivation is pretty selfish to get this film, but to get...
Does Flynn have an arc? Like, does he do the character growth in his
film? He does.
Film?
So
maybe that's my problem. I'm expecting it from Sam, but maybe the issue is that the audience has already seen that.
He's motivated by greed, and then eventually he comes across Tron. And then he comes across this other Ram, I think is his name.
Okay.
And they all are trying to break out and help, and eventually they find out that he is a user. and Ram eventually dies, and so he
Okay.
has to deal with that part of it, that's kind of a weird death scene too. This movie is very 80s. It is
I've seen
very.
only clips. It looks really visually impressive for the time.
It's visually. There's some scenes. I told Michaela, I was like, this movie. I've never seen a movie that looks so good, and yet so bad.
yeah.
There are scenes that look legitimately impressive. Even in the real world, the ending time lapse that they do at the end of the movie, I was like, that could have been made today.
Huh.
The time lapse looks great. Some of the graphics in the computer world look really good. And then you just have the minions who just look like they're holding broomsticks and like weird cloth uniforms, and like their sticks are kind of like phasing through the ground as they're moving. So it looks really good in some places, and then in other places it just it looks like the 1980s.
I think that's pretty consistent across all the Tron movies because Tron Legacy looks
Oh,
phenomenal.
yes, it looks.
I can't remember the last movie I saw that looked this good.
I know it was 15 years ago.
And say what you will about Tron Ares, I enjoyed most of the film. That film had some phenomenal effects.
That had to be where most of the budget went.
It looked incredible. At the very least, you have to admit that it is a beautiful and stunning movie. You can complain about the content of the film, but seeing the way that the grid is brought to life in all of these films, I think across all three, it's very striking.
Legacy looks like very almost it hit me the same way that Avatar did, in that
Okay.
going into it I knew nothing about the movie, so I didn't know that this movie was going to look like it did, and it looks incredible.
Yeah.
Modern CGI almost doesn't touch it.
I would agree. Yeah, and that's pretty common, I think, as we look back. Even stuff like Pirates of the Caribbean, which we were talking about earlier. You know, they really gave the artists time to develop these worlds and these characters. I think now there's so much crunch time. I think it's tough. There's a lot more emphasis on getting stuff out than getting stuff made well.
Yeah.
And I think it's interesting because these Tron films, they're very contradictory about corporations.
Yeah.
There's distrust, but there's a celebration. And there's kind of always this undercurrent that a corporation would be really good if you just got the right guy at the top. You know, you just need the right person at the top. It's like, well, that doesn't change the fact that these programs, they don't exist for themselves. You know, they're made to serve the users, which, you know, in Tron, he's like, oh, well, I fight for the users. It's like, is that his whole life? Like, could he imagine a life outside of you? Like, does he ever get to do something that he enjoys? You know, does he ever get to... We see a little bit of that in this film with the... with Quora, her name is, and just the sense of like, oh, she reads books and she enjoys things. You know, she enjoys... Actually, it's exactly the same as in Knives Out. She's hanging out with the dad. She's playing Go.
Yeah, they are playing
Go.
Go.
Exact same thing. I'm like, this is the same thing. This is the exact same premise.
Teams up with Ransom, except for Ransom isn't bad this time.
And it's this thing of you get glimpses, the same way you do with some of these other stories we've talked about, where it's like, oh, well, these characters, this, you know, type of sentient being, it might be able to live for itself. It's like, well, but the film says that they exist only for their creators. Tough luck. Sorry. It's like, again, not a problem.
Did Tron Legacy have a lot of that? Because in the first Tron movie, it's very blatant that these programs are subservient to the users, and they treat them. It's almost like a religion.
Okay.
Well, you see that in Tron Legacy too.
You do.
I think
Well,
they
with the
bow
guy-
down to.
They do.
Or he kneels before Flynn. I think.
Yeah, Flynn makes them, and he's like, oh, you don't have to, but I'm your creator.
Yeah.
And you can pay homage to me if you want to.
Yeah. Okay, I want to talk about the grid and how it came into being.
Right.
In the first one, whenever he goes into the original grid, that's what I'll call it, he sees his friends in there, and that's what they're personified as.
Okay.
I think I couldn't
Sounds
tell.
like the first film, it's 1-to-1. Like you're somebody in the real world and you're somebody in the grid. That's the impression that I'm getting listening to you.
Yeah,
In
except
Legacy, it was like, oh, you're you in both places. Is that accurate?
well,
or...
yeah, kind of, because Flynn's actually transported there. He's
Right.
not in the real world. Now he's here.
Yeah.
For the other two characters, I don't remember. Maybe I don't think Bradley and Lori actually go into the grid.
Are they just creating programs to do their will in the grid, or
Well,
how does
see,
that?
Man, I can't. I wasn't. To be honest with you, I don't think I was following because I missed a key part here.
Okay.
So, I think only Flynn goes into the grid, because Bradley is Tron, and then Lori is somebody called, I think her name's Yori, which is very creative.
Okay.
Lori is Yori and Bradley is Tron, and they both help him in
Bradley, he
different ways,
lucked out.
and they have a weird love triangle. Let me tell you,
Hmm.
it that threw me for a real loop at the end of the movie. But so Flynn, in the original grid, in his first experience, he has his friends around him, people who look like his friends,
Right.
and together they take down the Master Control program. In this new one,
In Legacy.
in Legacy,
Right.
he makes two other people. He makes Tron, and he makes Clue.
Yes.
So Clue, does he make does he make two people that look like himself, or does he only make one other one?
He makes two. He makes two.
But then Bradley's there too, as Tron.
No, in Legacy, it just, you get the sense that he made both. Because there's the scene where Clue turns evil, and Jeff Bridges, he just delivers this line phenomenally, where Clue walks up to him and he's like, "Hey, am I still supposed to make the perfect system?" It's like, yeah. Why are you asking?
Yeah, it was kind of a weird. It's kind of a weird. Like he's like,
it is one of my favorite scenes in the film. It's just like, yes, you are. Why are you asking me? And he's walking there with Tron, and they all have the same face.
I thought
So
Bradley was one of them. I thought Bradley was one of them.
There's at least one scene where Tron, Clue, and Flynn are all walking around in the grid. They all have the same face. And the visual de-aging that they do for Flynn, they do it at the beginning of the film for the flashback when Sam's just a kid. And then they use it on Clue for the entirety of the film. It definitely is the weakest part of the film.
I agree.
For me. Just in terms of appearance. But I really liked it. Because it looks uncanny. It looks uncanny. It looks digital. And so for this digital program in a digital world, I think it's a really effective way of depicting it. You know, he's always clinging to his creator. He's made in his image, but he's made in his image at a very particular time. And so you get the sense that maybe he reflects a younger Flynn. And so we get to see Flynn's growth, and that's really impactful in the last scene that they share together when Clue's trying to escape into the real world. Flynn is there. They're talking. Flynn's controlling the grid. Clue's really at the peak of his emotional anguish. Seeing those uncanny CGI visuals on Clue, I think heightened the emotion of it because it is this uncanny clinging to the past.
Yeah.
Now, that being said, I think it worked a lot worse when it was actually in the real world. There's a scene in the flashback. They try to hide his face for most of it, and then they do this big reveal where they show young Jeff Bridges, and he's on screen, and he looks young, and it looks so bad.
Yeah,
It looks so bad.
I'm
sure it looked good at the time.
Yeah, there had to be a precursor. I mean, Rogue One looked incredible whenever I saw it, and now I watch it, I'm like, it doesn't look perfect.
Yeah.
But at the time, you're like, oh my gosh, it's Tarkin.
I think Clue holds up in the grid.
Yes.
Because of all those reasons.
Yes.
It's set up as visual. You know, something similar happens in other de-aging where you want to go for kind of the uncanny. Maybe it's a monster, or it's an illusion, or it's a clone. Something like that where there's plausible deniability for why it's not quite right, I think goes a long way for an audience.
Yeah. So he does make Tron Bradley.
Okay.
Because that's who Bradley was in the first one.
Okay.
I had to double check, but in the scene where Clue asked him if
not-
he's supposed to make the perfect program.
It's not just Flynn again.
No.
I
at least
watched
at first.
the entire film and thought that it was just Flynn.
No,
again.
because it's
This
the only
changes
scene.
things.
I think this is the only scene
This
where
changes things for me.
you see his face.
Okay.
But it makes sense. He was Tron in the first one,
Interesting.
and now he's Tron here.
Huh.
So
Okay.
Flynn's motivations are very weird.
Yeah.
He's kind of there's another movie that does this too, but he goes into the grid, leaves, and then wants to go back. And he creates this world that's very self-centered. He's using company resources to do it, I'm sure.
Right.
And
that's a good point.
he's doing it for years, and every night he goes in late, and he's not spending time with his son. He's instead going to the grid, and he keeps telling his son, "Hey, I want to take you to the grid at some point."
Yeah.
And then eventually he doesn't come back because he gets stuck.
Yeah.
And then they have this weird concept where he created all the programs and all that kind of stuff. He created Clue, he created Tron, but then he has this other group of people that he did not create.
Yeah.
The ISOs.
Yes.
That Clue initiates a genocide on. And
because they're different. He can't account for them. They're outside of what he's expecting. So he just wipes them all out.
Yeah, except for one.
His rebellion. He closes the portal, he traps Flynn in, he wipes out all the ISOs. Yeah, and that's kind of his pivot towards villainy.
Well, and then you have Zeus, who it's like this bar owner, essentially glorified bar owner, who was aligned with the ISO, and then he's somehow still a bar owner in the movie, and you're like, how is this possible? Oh, it's because he's still working. He's working with Clue.
Yeah.
And so you have a hero, which you don't see any backstory on, but he falls, and just like Clue, his original purpose, he falls far from it.
His storyline is interesting to me because it's another instance of a program saying we don't want to live for the users. We'd like to live for ourselves, if possible. We don't want to live with their weirdness. We don't want to come to the users, beck and call, and serve them and do everything that they want. It's strange. Because within the world, the way it's set up, the grid doesn't exist without computers. And computers do not exist without the users, without real people in the real world actually making them. So there's again the anxieties about companies. You know, they have these great technological advancements that make possible new types of worlds we never could have fathomed beforehand.
Well,
But then within those worlds, there's inequality, there's social tensions. So there's fertile ground for a lot of different interpretations of it. You know, how justified are the programs to rebel if their creation is literally dependent on the users creating them? There's some tension there. There's an uncertainty that I don't think the films quite know what to do with.
Yeah, and you also have to ask, where does Flynn's world stop and Clue's begin?
Yeah.
How much of the problems that are there, like they have, like it comes across almost as prostitution, in a way, in the bar. Whenever you have all the women and like they're guiding Sam through and they're distracted.
Right.
And it's almost like we're intentionally distracting them, so you have stuff like that regardless of your views on that. It's illegal in most places, and it's viewed as promiscuous. It's viewed as a at least behind closed doors type of deal.
Clue's perfect
underground,
world
I guess,
still has these types of exploitation. It still has the street sweeps and the gladiatory games. He plays more like some crazy Roman emperor than a benevolent,
that's a good way to put it,
enlightened despot.
I guess if you put it in the context of Rome, in a similar world to that, where he is a dictator, there is a police state, there is games that entertain the populace, even though they're just programs, and he really shouldn't have to entertain these programs because at least his second in command is completely subservient to him. I mean, at least until his life is threatened. But for the most part, he almost worships him because he doesn't want to get killed. So it is almost a weird, he has to think about what the populace think, but after that, it stops. He stops caring about what they think, but he gives them the games.
Yeah.
Because in the original one, the Master Control program, he just wants to do it to exert control. There's at one point where his officer that is kind of in charge of keeping things in order and executing his will, tries to kill Flynn, and he says, no, I want him to die in the games. And so it's this weird power trip that he's on that ends up causing his downfall. So it is weird that the games in this movie feel like they're just there because they were there in the first one.
See,
they're not connected to anything. They're not connected to any sort of motivation from the main characters.
But if they're connected to Clue, and Clue's this mad Roman emperor, and he's putting on games for the people, and Flynn's and his son Sam are reflecting the average person. You know, maybe Flynn is a pushed out aristocrat, essentially. Sam is the average Joe. They're caught up in the games. They're caught up in these oppressive state measures, you know, police states, gladiatorial games, the seedy underbelly of the city with the criminals and all these things that have been pushed to the margins but are tacitly allowed by the authorities to keep the people happy and submissive. I mean, I think you can make an argument that he is, you know, we've mentioned it a couple times, but he's like a Mary Poppins figure. But, you know, does he end the police sweeps? Does he end the games? Does he change the underbelly of the city, of the grid? Or does he kind of just leave at the end of the film? And it's implied that maybe those things don't happen anymore.
Yeah.
I think maybe I'd be more okay with his role as a good, solid character who transforms the world if we saw the grid transformed at the end of the film. We see Clue's influence on it, and like you said, I mean, that's how much of it's Flynn, how much of it's Clue. There's an ambiguity there.
But Clue's motivations aren't clear either, because
he's almost like the devil.
He's like the devil in
Paradise Lost. Like, he's rebelling against his god. He wants divinity. He wants to be on the same level. But you're right. It's ambiguous.
Well, because at the end, unless he's a politician, unless he is just a strictly Roman emperor, he says that he's going to open up the human world, the user world, for all the programs.
Yeah.
And yet he's pitting all the programs against each other in a ring. Now, are they criminals? It looks like they got picked up on sweeps.
Yeah.
So maybe it's just a police state, and the people that they pick up on the streets are criminals, so they're going to...
What constitutes crime? Because for Flynn, it seems to be he's outside. You know, he's outside during curfew. Is he perceived as homeless? They don't really talk to him. They're kind of just like, oh, well, you're not identified. You don't have your ID. You're going to the games. You know, we're going to throw you to the lions. It is really interesting. I like the film the more and more I talk about it. I think you're able to see how this is a film that does poorly at the box office and becomes a cult classic long term. I think it's very similar to the process we're going through right now, where it's like it's a bit confusing when you watch it. But as you talk about it, as you think about it, as you mull it over, it does grow on you. There's
a surprising amount of content here.
Yeah.
There's the deeper you look. There's motivation. Yeah. There's real world implications now that we are living in an age of AI, and we're seeing the rise of that, and how they viewed it 15 years ago and 40 years ago, and the fears it was able to nail in the first one specifically of this master like program that's running everything and locking humans out. And what do businesses do whenever they have something that's so sets a self-learning type of machine? In the first one, the master control program talks about like the Cold War briefly. It talks about how he needs to. The whole confrontation starts whenever he says he needs access to the Pentagon, and Dellinger, the VP's like, "Why do you need access to the Pentagon?" He's like, "Well, the same reason why I need access to the Kremlin. It's power and information." And so he tries to tell him, "No, you can't do that." And he's like, "I'm smarter than you. I made you." And he's like, "I'm like over 2,000 times smarter than whenever you created me, because it's learning constantly."
Yeah.
So it starts talking about all the problems that it sees and how it can solve them. So there's that aspect too that's even outside of all the characters. But then even in the world that Flynn created, there's a lot there.
Yeah.
But you know who's really not there?
Do tell.
Tron.
Well, yeah, and I'm realizing now, it's like, I thought Tron had a completely different face.
Oh, so
that's how little Tron is in this film.
I feel, okay, I could be wrong.
Oh, I feel like you're, okay.
I could be, because
that's a problem, that's a problem.
This is him. In the scene where he
and
tells Flynn to run.
Maybe it's the digital de-aging. To me, I saw those as the same thing. Maybe I'm completely face blind and I wasn't paying attention. It's possible. It's totally possible. I think the fact that his face is shown in one scene where it's poorly lit and de-aged, it is not setting itself wildly apart for first-time viewers, I think. It is interesting. Tron, he's hardly in the film. He's captured by Clue. He's repurposed, reprogrammed to be his chief enforcer. And so instead of blue, he wears orange, and they call him Rinsler.
Okay, that's what I was just realizing.
Rinsler.
I was not. This movie is so hard for me to follow. Both of these films, these things happen, these subtle things where it's like, oh, this person is wearing this other person's face.
Right.
But are they in the universe or are they not? Oh, is this person dead? Is this person Tron? It is, but we're calling him something different. Anyway.
Every time I heard Rinsler, I thought about the Onceler from the Lorax.
Yeah.
Every single time. And then, every single time that I thought about it, I went from Rinsler to the Rizzler. Every time. And so I couldn't take him seriously.
It's Tron!
Film. I'm like, just call him that. Like, this is Rinsler. I was like, I get that he's named after, an executive, and it's kind of like, oh, we know him. It was tough for me, man. It was tough. I was like, this is Tron.
But why
we're
is
giving
it
him
Tron?
a silly name.
Why is
He's
it Tron?
wearing a mask the whole time because he doesn't know who he is anymore. It was well done. I mean, he has the moment at the end. He's brought back to his senses. His character arc, though, it is maybe a C plot in the film. Maybe. I think that's being generous.
But in the first one, Tron isn't the hero. He isn't the main character.
Yeah.
Flynn is the main character. And Flynn, the only reason why Tron is able to take out the Master Control Program is because Flynn kisses Tron's girlfriend and then falls into the Master Control Program, which distracts the Master.
First part strictly necessary.
Because I'll tell you why in a minute. He falls into the Master Control Program, distracts it just long enough for Tron to have an opening to throw his disc and kill the Master Control Program. And then Tron runs up to Yori, I should say, and she looks him in the eye and kisses Tron and goes, "We thought you were dead." Like, just in that tone. Almost like she thinks Tron saw her kiss Flynn and is now saying, "Look, I thought you were dead." It's such a weird sequence of events because this is the climax of the movie. It's just...
How long is an acceptable amount of so you think your love interest dies? How long is an acceptable amount of time?
Longer than that.
Longer than a couple minutes?
Than that.
I would agree with that, I think.
Yeah.
If I had to,
I appreciate you backing me up on that. I thought I was the only one.
Tron Legacy, it's a good film. It is a good film. I really enjoyed it. I know it sounds like we've come down really hard on it.
No, I'm not done. I'm sorry.
I'm not done either.
Okay.
I'm wanting to reiterate.
No. I know.
This is a fun film. I
had fun watching it. I did.
It makes sense. The story's coherent. The actors are given their all. The music, the visual effects are unmatched, especially for something of its time. There are a lot of ambiguities, or space for interpretation. It's the kind of story where as you talk through it more and more, you come to a deeper appreciation of it. I see very easily how this is a film that holds a 51% on Rotten Tomatoes and then is also a cult classic. Because it is this thing where if you put in the effort, there's a lot here. But as a casual viewer, you're probably going to be very confused. The plot is going to be somewhat incoherent. And that's okay. There's a lot of great films that are like that. A lot of great stories where on the first time through, it does not make sense. And it is not very good. But if you dig into it, there's a lot that you can find.
Yeah, just like how I found the scene I was talking about. She kisses him.
Smooth.
Sorry. She kisses him. He says, "That's nice." And she goes, "We thought you were dead." Like, we thought you were dead. I'm sorry. This is
It's-
my. Hey, I'm so sorry for kissing this other dude. Kiss.
It's very funny how these films consistently have one or two lines where the delivery is just hilarious.
It's just, and it's like
Yeah.
20 something years apart. Like, oh man, no, I agree with you. This movie, like, it was a fun movie.
Yeah.
Is it critically good? I mean, I don't think it was trying to be.
That's fair.
If that makes sense. I don't think it was trying to be like a top tier Christopher Nolan movie or like it has extremely good plot and all these plot twists and all that kind of stuff. There's really no plot twists in the movie necessarily after a certain point.
Very straightforward.
It's very straightforward. And
Yeah.
I'm not saying that makes it bad. I'm just saying it's not like this crazy, like, you got to see this movie because of, you're never going to believe what happens, like in The Prestige or something like that.
Every person that I've had recommend the film to me has done so very enthusiastically. And they tend to emphasize the visuals and the music. And
Yeah.
they'll say something along the lines of, I've never seen anything like it, or this was really cool.
Do you know who did the music?
It was Daft Punk.
Daft Punk.
At least for Legacy. I know that somebody else
Legacy,
did music
Legacy.
for the first and the third ones. I'm not sure who off the top of my head.
Yeah. We're jumping around a lot, I know. I still don't know how I feel about Tron having little to no impact. They leave him in that sea,
Yeah.
and that's it.
He's,
It's almost like they were trying to
Yeah.
set up a third movie
right.
because they focus on him like falling deeper and deeper as if they're going to bring him back, and it just never happened. But this movie is
Yeah.
called, the original movie was called Tron, which is already questionable in my opinion. I understand that like they only named a certain amount of things, and Tron made the most sense because he was like the character with the title, I guess. And it sounds good.
Yeah.
But in the new one, if you are going into it knowing you have to call this movie Tron, why not make Tron matter more? And have any sort of depth besides sacrificing himself twice, which he does, but I don't really care. He's called somebody
tough.
else for half the movie.
Well, he's just hardly in the film. When he's there, he's a generic faceless bad guy. He's called Rinsler,
The Rinsler.
which I struggle with.
The Rinsler.
And again, that's me projecting my current self into the past. Calling him Rinsler at the time is just a fun, like, oh, well, it's based off the executive, it's somebody we know. There's not a way that I can take Rinsler seriously nowadays.
Oh, I know.
I'm struggling
I know.
to take it
Yeah,
seriously.
yeah. 15 years ago, I mean,
It's
no one could have known what was to come. But
add the Rizzler to the list of poorly aged things. Just put up an image of Tron. That's the only clip that I've ever seen of this film before watching it, is the scene of him coming down the spiral staircase and the fireworks are going off. Again, it's a film that's very beautiful. It's very stunning. It's very stylized. I've never heard anybody say, you know what I really loved about this movie? Its character arcs.
yeah, and again, it's not really
I've
meant
never
to be.
seen-
It's like Avatar in that
Yeah,
sense.
Yeah.
That the plot of Avatar, like, I'd have to watch it again. It's been a long time, but
Right.
no one went to go see it for the plot. I know
Yeah.
somebody who loves Avatar, like loves everything Avatar
Okay.
for the characters. And I only know
I've
one
never
person.
met anybody
I know.
like that in
It's
my
like it's
life.
very
I've
rare.
never
It's
met-
extremely
I've
rare.
never heard somebody quote it.
Yeah.
I've never heard somebody hum a
And
tune
look,
from it.
I have whenever you talk about unobtainium. that is
okay.
worth talking about. But you don't you very few people like watch Avatar for the plot. Much like this one, you watch it for Flynn, I suppose, because his arc
Yeah.
is the one that has the most gravity.
I think you almost watch it for Clue as well. You know what I saw after?
I didn't care about Clue. I'm sorry.
Well, Okay,
I
so-
just didn't. I didn't understand
it's
when he's a program.
maybe the film would be. Well, I hesitate to say that. In Aries, the main character is a program, and it's not that much more interesting. I was gonna say maybe the main character should have been a program. Maybe instead of this literal biological father-son relationship, it should have been, father-son, creator-createe relationship, where the main thrust of the film is between Flynn and Clue. I think that's the main emotional thrust of the film. Really? So the reason I bring that up is after Aries released, I was interested in, well, how are these stories perceived? How do people engage with them? What I found was a lot of TikTok and Instagram edits, specifically of Clue. That's what I found.
What?
Well, it was either the visuals of the film set to, the Daft Punk music, or it was Clue going on about, I've been abandoned, my creator doesn't love me, I'm going to help everyone. I think it's interesting to see what parts of the film resurfaced on social media.
Where's that?
Again, not a it's not a scientific study.
Well, no,
I
but
didn't sample 10,000 people and get their opinions on Tron. But what I saw on my own social media feed was people bringing back those parts of the film. I think that those are the bits that really resonated with people.
why do you think that is? Because that is interesting to me. He felt abandoned,
Yeah.
and he saw a world as he saw it broken,
Right.
and his one mission and his one directive is to make it perfect.
Yeah.
And Jeff Bridges has a line at the end where he's talking about it's unknowable to be like perfection. You can't know it. That's why perfection is so unobtainable.
Unobtainium, you might say.
Yeah, sorry, I misspoke. It's so unobtainium. Why do you think people resonated with Clue specifically? At least those people, because the fact that anybody's doing that is wild to me. Because Clue, I did not feel for at all. I don't know.
It's what I found when I went poking around on social media.
Where does that
casually.
come from?
I think it comes from a place of his arc really is the most emotional in the film.
Clues?
I think so. Well, because like I said earlier, Sammy's a very static character. He changes the world rather than the world changing him.
Yeah.
Flynn, he grows. A lot of that growth is off screen. It's him saying, well, I don't want to do that. I want to stay in my cave. And then he shows up to the fight anyways, and he's like, hey, I'm going to fight now. You convinced me.
He does share a moment with his son, though, where he's talking
does.
about the real world, and he finds out his parents have died.
Finds out his parents have died.
And
that moves him.
yeah.
He talks about Wi-Fi and the technological advancements.
Well,
that
he
have happened
sacrifices
when it's gone.
himself.
He does.
Even though the whole time Sam's like, I'm not leaving here without you. And then he sacrifices himself for his son. And then you have Cora, who watched her entire kind completely obliterated. That's pretty emotional.
Yeah, I hope you like Cora, because if you wanted a female character, you're not getting another. She's the female character in this film.
Yeah, yeah.
And she exists in this.
Well, there was another one. Another woman, I should say.
When I say character, I mean somebody with a name.
There was another woman.
And depth.
Really?
I mean,
I don't even know if she got like credits at the end. She wasn't in it that much. The other person, but I see your point.
The other female characters, they might as well be on billboards. It's like, well, they're there.
Oh,
There was another woman in this movie. Didn't you see her?
didn't you see it? Yeah,
she's there.
Did you see her?
She's right there on the magazine cover or on the photograph in the background. It's like, well, does she say something? Does she do something?
Well, she leads Sam in there.
Does the plot change dramatically if instead of being led there, he is told by Quora where to go the first time, and he just walks there? I don't think it does. It's a personal opinion.
You're right. I don't disagree.
No, I'm not gonna water that one down or walk it back. The film could have really have used some more female characters. There's one. And she exists in this weird place where she is the only surviving member of her people, surviving Clue's genocide. She is a program enthusiastically supporting a user who's basically God to her. So there's that baked-in inequality there that's unavoidable in the relationship. And she is an ISO, which Flynn is interested in because kind of the spontaneous life in the grid. He views them as potential programs that can help humanity, that can maybe help with some extra computing power. Who knows what doors they'll be able to open. They're just this boundless potential, this new life. But we never see her do anything. We see her lose a lot of fights to other programs. We never see her invent something. We never see her grow. She likes user culture. She reads books. She plays Go. But it's kind of the trope of the woman who's really beautiful, but she was born yesterday and she doesn't know how the world works. So she has to follow around this average guy who teaches her everything and then she becomes hopelessly devoted to. It's that trope here as well, but with this weird, I'm basically not to freak you out or anything, but the guy who created this place, the entire world, I'm his son. And you are the only surviving member of your people. And so you basically have to stay with me if you want to survive, but also serve the users who I am. And, you know, it's maybe I'm reading too much into it. It's just this weird, I'm the only survivor of genocide. I'm the only female character in the film. I exist to serve the users. It's this weird house of cards that I think creates a very... It's always right on the line of uncomfortable. You know, like I'm constantly like, I don't know about this.
Like you're saying that they're like, yeah, we're gonna put a woman in this movie, but only because she doesn't belong here.
Right.
Like you can't have somebody who's like a woman who's supposed to belong there and chooses to join him. It's like I really have no other choice. And there's kind of a religious aspect too, where there's a little bit of manipulation there, where it's like, well, it's the creator's son,
Yeah.
and it's the creator. And I care about the creator, obviously, because he created everything.
Right.
And even if he didn't create me, he created the environment in which I was created in.
Right.
And so he
Yeah.
doesn't know what's good for him, so let me help his son so that I can save the creator.
It's enough to make me uncomfortable.
Sure.
Perpetually. It's like, I don't know. I don't know about this one, guys.
I'm just trying to, yeah, no, I'm trying to
I
understand.
think it's a bit weird. The third movie, I'm not going to sing the praise. I liked Tron Ares. I did. It was a fun film. I liked it. It's a good film. It is a female protagonist. It is a female villain. It does female characters a lot better than Tron Legacy.
Okay.
It does.
Because it has them?
It has them. They're there. They do things. Now, that
Yeah.
being said, there are other problems with that film and the character's writing. But, you know, Tron Legacy, it doesn't do female characters well. And that's, you know, it's not really tangential. It's not a peripheral thing. I think it's bare minimum there should be a good female character in your 2-hour film. I think. That's my opinion.
Yeah, I don't know if I necessarily think she's outright bad. She does some heroic things. She sacrifices herself. She puts her life on the line and almost dies. And then as soon as she recovers, she turns herself in so that way they have something to distract from the main characters. Which I understand what you're saying. She's not inherently bad. And like Sam and her eventually fall in love, and
Which is
weird. She goes into the human world, which I haven't seen Ares. So, and the whole movie treats it as it's everyone understands that these programs can go out into the real world.
Yeah.
I know that we're talking about a movie where people go into the computer world, so this shouldn't be the most like earth-shattering thing for it to happen in reverse. But for me, whenever she just casually is on the bike, and you knew she was going to be there, but I'm like, how does that work? How is this possible?
So,
because then that means that Flynn can manipulate Earth itself.
yeah, he can just bring infinite energy. You know, like, yeah, forget about the
Energy and matter don't just
forget
come
about
from
the,
nowhere.
You know, the nonsense. He's like, oh, we're going to increase computing power with these things. It's like, dude, you can create people.
Actual people is what we're saying now.
Yeah, get out of here with the, oh, we're going to be able to run so many gigabits. Like, no, you make people. You make people.
Yes.
Real human people that you can bring into the real world whenever you want.
So in Ares, whenever the army is, I'm assuming the army gets out into the real world.
Yes.
So
bits and pieces of it.
So whenever they're stabbed, do they disintegrate like they usually do?
They do. So in Ares, it's what was the name of the company?
Encom?
Not Encom, the other one with the D, the evil company. I don't remember.
In Tron, they're one and the same for most of the
Dillinger, I think is it. Dillinger.
Oh, there's a Dillinger company?
I think it's a Dillinger company.
Well, that's the VP's name.
Okay.
In the original Tron.
I think it's Dillinger. Please forgive me if I'm wrong.
That's probably right. That's probably right.
So in Tron Ares, the premise is you have the good CEO of Encom, who's a woman you've never heard of in the previous film. She just exists now. And you have the male CEO of the Dillinger, I think, company. And they're going against each other with their own grids. So they each have a grid. And the issue is that they want to bring stuff into the real world, and they're not good at it. So it can come into the real world for like 5-7 minutes, and then it disintegrates. and they wake up back in the grid. So if they die, they wake up back in the grid. If they are existing for longer than a couple of minutes, they disintegrate and wake up back in the grid. So the thrust of Ares is finding a way to make these things from the grid exist permanently in the real world, which they eventually find a way to do through like some of Flynn's old code. And the implication is that like Flynn was really good at it and he was the only one who knew how.
Which is why Korra was able to exist.
Which is why Korra was able to exist, but everybody in Tron Ares isn't able to exist. And so the film ends for Ares with them finding the code, Ares becomes permanent, and then he lives his life as Jared Leto out in the real world. And, you know, it's nice that they still release horror movies around Halloween.
He's walking among us.
Out there. He's permanent. If he dies, he comes back.
There's a process. Like, he does have to go through a form of customs, but eventually he comes back.
Right.
Like,
it was, I mean, it's a fun film. Watching Ares made me appreciate Tron Legacy a lot more. Because, like what we were saying with Clue, I really like Clue. He's probably my favorite part of Tron Legacy. He does have this Promethean, this Luciferian complex. Like he's in Paradise Lost. He wants to ascend. He wants to go into the real world where the gods are. He wants to create a perfect society, even if that means, you know, he wants to create a perfect society, but he has contempt for everybody. So he's like, well, they can't take it seriously. I have to beat them into submission. I have to punish crime aggressively. I have to hold these games to keep them tied over. But I want to ascend to godhood. So I'm better than everyone else. I want to ascend. It's a fascinating character. But there are all these like literary analogies that I'm making, you know, that's subtext. He never looks into the camera and is like, I am basically Lucifer. You made me. I want to be free. In Tron Ares, there's a scene where Ares is scanning through a bunch of data and he comes across Frankenstein and he just starts reading Frankenstein. And he basically looks into the camera and he's like, I'm kind of like Frankenstein. Somebody made me. I don't like it. I exist against my will also. I'm kind of like Frankenstein. And then later in the film, he like starts doing his own thing. And one of the characters is like, oh, so you're like Pinocchio and you want to be a real boy? He's like, yeah, I'm kind of like Pinocchio, I guess. It's like, don't tell your audience what they should think about it. Just have him do things and let them think, oh, he's like Pinocchio. Oh, he's like Frankenstein. It's so heavy-handed in Ares where they don't trust you to kind of make some of these jumps. Tron Legacy does. You know, it just writes a character. Clue, he's like Lucifer. In Ares, they're like, isn't this character a little bit like Frankenstein? Don't you think so, guys? And it makes for a weaker viewing experience. You get the sense that they trust the audience a lot less.
Yeah. No, I'll eventually watch Ares.
That being said, we've spent like the last hour talking about how Legacy confused the heck out of us.
Yeah, I know.
So maybe, you know, we can view Ares as a conscious overcompensation.
Yes.
It's more on the nose. It explains a lot more. You're less confused watching it. It's a lot simpler. And it's about a program. It's about a program explicitly. And Ares, you know, despite the film's flaws, Ares, he does get the life that I think you and I have both been talking about through the program. So it's like, well, it'd be nice if they could exist for themselves.
And he gets that.
He gets that at the end. And that is something. That's a win.
Well, because that is technically the first time. Because the ISO isn't... It wasn't a program intentionally created to serve users finding freedom.
Yeah.
The ISOs are just kind of this weird other type of thing where they don't know how they were created. They don't know.
Another thing. I just thought about that. Sorry to interrupt. Flynn watches this sentient people arise out of existence, and his first thought is, dude, I could enslave these. these could work so great for humans. It's like, that's crazy.
Yeah, he's
that's insane.
He doesn't know his power. He doesn't know that he can create people that out of a computer and they can go into the real world. He doesn't know that he can create an environment for beings who just crop up out of nowhere. He doesn't know his own power. And because he's so cynical because he misses his son, and then he becomes Zen. He goes out of his way to be like, I'm Zen. And I just don't care anymore. Okay, here's one thing. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Let's hear it. Whenever Sam goes to his dad's house, and they're looking at the compound.
Mm-hmm.
He takes his dad's vintage, I think it's a life cycle is what they call it, into the town. He leaves it with somebody, the homeless guy, and then the guards find the life cycle, and they say we found the life cycle. We can track it back to its point of origin. They're right there. Like, I'm
true.
sorry.
That's true.
Like, I understand. Like, Cora makes a comment that like the life cycles can't go where they're going because the wheels, they don't have the right wheels for it or the vehicles for it.
Yeah.
But they can see the city, man.
They can.
And like Zeus, you never see it. Like you think for a second that Sam is going to go out into the outlying lands or something, which clearly means unless Zeus was just completely gaslighting him. But the ISOs came from a separate land. But anyway, they know that there's land outside and it's accessible somehow.
Yeah.
So why is it so unfeasible that whenever he has a viewport right there
It's true.
to see,
Well,
I don't know.
You know he keeps the lights on.
Yeah.
And so you look out to the waste and it's mostly dark.
Yeah.
You just see this
They have
one
some
little snippet of, well-lit shelter. I don't know.
Well, they have a wide shot and you can see the lights and everything. Like it's not like they did a thing, at least from what I saw, that it's like it blends into the mountain or something, and then you just has the pool and like the portico or whatever. But even during, I guess there's no day, but it seems very close.
Yeah.
Extreme. They get there very quickly and they can see the whole city essentially.
And we get a good scene of Clue when he's inside Flynn's house and he's going around and he's touching mementos, and he's imagining what Flynn lived like in here. It's one of the best scenes in the film. I guess the more that I talk about it, I really like Clue in a way that I don't like Sam, because Clue has all this internal
Oh, I agree.
tension.
Clue's better than Sam. I agree.
And I think that's what, and again, not a huge sample size, but just what I saw on social media. Those are the parts of the film that I saw people returning to. I think that's it's the big emotional thrust. It's the big, character arc. It's the moment of utmost despair that I think a character ever goes through, is that scene at the end. Because you think about the end of the film, they've been trying this whole time to get Sam and Flynn back to the real world, to get Cora into the real world and away from Clue, to stop Clue from getting into the real world. That scene is Sam helping Cora walk, and then it is Flynn having a really emotional conversation with Clue, not his son. He says like, "Oh, goodbye, son, I love you." He has a really emotional conversation with Clue.
Almost like that's his true son. That's his.
Right.
That's the person he failed.
It is.
Because Sam, maybe he's just comforted by the fact that Sam seems like he's put together somewhat. At least he's pointed in the right direction.
Yeah.
Clue, he has completely screwed up his mind and he's disappointed him and led him down the wrong path, which is interesting now that you said it, because he has one. The last emotional conversation they have is just like, "Oh, I love you. What's going on back on Earth? Like,
right.
I wish I could have brought you here earlier. So that's a good point. That's a good point.
With Clue, there's this createe despair. Flynn essentially dies in that moment. With Clue keeping him back, we don't see him pop up again. So there's this tension. It's Clue. He fights so hard to get into the human world, and he gets right up to the gates of heaven, and he can't go through. There's this tragic element to his character. He sees it, and he sees other people go and get the life that he wants. He's unable to appreciate ambiguity, to appreciate new things. He's ruled the grid with this iron fist, like this Roman emperor, and he's unable to ascend into godhood. And at the very end, he's smited down by this act of divinity. When Flynn warps the grid and he casts out these beams of light and he destroys him. It is very well done.
It's growing on me. Clue's growing on me the more you talk about it. It is a very tragic story.
And then Sam, he's kind of just like, "Oh, I got a girlfriend."
It's true.
"Hey guys,
and a company.
I got a girlfriend and I'm ready to take that CEO job now that you offered me. Yeah, I'll take that now."
Yeah.
It's like, man, it's just Clue. He's so good. He's so good.
I thought the early reveal wouldn't work as well. Whenever they revealed him pretty early, that like, oh, it's Dad. It's not his dad.
Yeah.
It's not. It's just Clue.
Yeah.
But it works, and especially in retrospect, as we talked about it, it works. So
Especially
I
because
think
he's wearing Flynn's face
Yeah.
the whole time. Oh,
Yeah.
it's so good.
trying to
man.
be the creator
It's
that he can never be.
but it's uncanny.
It's uncanny. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. No, it's good. Yeah.
this is so good.
Yeah.
And then Sam's there, and he's like, "I got a girlfriend.
Yeah. You did.
This
You
is so
did. And
cool.
you know what? You know
I got a
what?
girlfriend, and she really likes me, and I never had to take her on a date."
Hey.
It's
Hey.
like-
That's wow. That's just efficient. You go, man. Like
I'm just saying. I think it bothers me so much. I like Clue a lot. The
Okay.
more that we talk about this, the more I just want to. And I never thought I'd say this. Replay Kingdom Hearts Dream Drop Distance.
remember that time whenever you said
I haven't.
This
talked
is
about
the
it.
la-
I mentioned it. I mentioned it by name, but I didn't go into detail. I'm just saying.
we have finally come full circle.
What I'm getting at with that is, it's such a cool world to inhabit, and the character arcs that are strongest are Clues, and then Tron's arc specifically in Kingdom Hearts, not in the film, because I feel like
He's not there.
the game
He's
did
not there.
more with Tron.
I haven't played the
Then-
game, but it did.
Oh, well, he had lines in the game, which is more than I can say about.
Well, he had lines in this movie too. It was just run,
He
Flynn.
Technically had
Run.
some lines. Technically.
And he said, I serve the users,
Right.
and then that was it.
I don't know. I guess what I'm trying to get at with the Kingdom Hearts reference is the world is beautiful. A handful of the character arcs are really good, and a handful I could do without.
There you go. That's a pretty concise way to put the film. What would you rate it? Unless you have anything else, any other plot points you want to talk about?
Any other plot points? There's not really.
It
any
looks
I
beautiful.
think
It
of.
looks good. It still holds up.
It does.
Um,
We talked about the corporations, this weird idea of these monolithic organizations just need the right guy at the top to be good or bad. It's like I like the grid. I like it as a very literal analogy for the internet.
mhm.
Um,
Escapism too, and because that's what
yeah.
Flynn's trying to do.
Yeah, it's escapism. There's this addictive quality to it. You neglect your family because you're addicted to this other world. Companies, they have this technological progress that enables new worlds we never could have dreamed of. But these worlds have their own dangers.
Mhm.
It's a good analogy. It's very potent. The visual language of the film is so good. So good. I would kill to get more films that looked half as good as this.
I agree.
What would I rate it? I'm really conflicted on this one. I'm really conflicted. I feel like this is one of the worst films that I would remember fondly and rewatch. I'm gonna, this film has so much going for it. The performances, the music, the visuals. The story's simple but coherent. It has a couple of weird attitudes towards the users and the programs that I'm very uncomfortable with. I'd give it a 7. Maybe like a 6.5.
I was gonna say 6. I mean, it's not even
Yeah.
about Tron. Sorry. Sorry. Like, it's very simple calculus for me. But I think you
That's
like this movie more than I do. I do like this
I do.
movie a lot, and it is growing on me as you're talking.
Yeah.
But I don't think I could rank it any higher than you. And I think 6 is what my gut was saying. So that's kind of where I land.
I'm going to go with 6.5.
Okay.
It was a good film. I really liked it. Props to everybody who made it. Like, nothing I say should ever be taken as a dig against these people. Wonderful creative work went into this film. I
can see why. I can see why it has a big fandom.
I can see why it has a 51% on Rotten Tomatoes, and I can see why this film has a cult following. And I am very happy to be a part of the cult classic fandom of Tron Legacy.
Well, speaking of cult classic fandoms, thank you for watching this video. We're trying to develop one of our
That
own
seems a bit.
cult classic. Yeah, I know.
I don't think I'd.
Really?
Probably not yet.
I know.
I think it's a bit unlikely.
Look, you gotta believe in yourself, man.
Hey, you gotta.
If not believe in yourself, just try to believe in yourself. It's probably good for your mental health. But, yep. Thank you for watching.
Yes.
Please like and subscribe if you like what you see. let us know if you have any other ideas that you want. What?
Yeah. If there's any other type of story that you are interested in having us cover, please let us know.
Yep. Again, thank you for watching.